Some foods will fuel your session, others will ruin it before you even start. My name's Ash and I've helped countless athletes to dial in their nutrition to improve their performance and not ruin it. Now, when I say that these are the worst foods you can have before training, I mean if you have these foods within a 2-hour window of your session, your performance is most definitely going to be affected. Number one, high fat fast food, junk food, KFC, McDonald's, things like that. I'm speaking to myself. When I used to be an athlete, I was about 16, 17 years old, and every day after high school, every day after college, I used to eat McDonald's. And I didn't know I was actually impacting my performance in a negative manner. I thought I could just eat McDonald's and go to the track, just run fast time, and it'd have no impact. Now, this is why having high fat junk foods are going to have a serious impact on your performance. When you have meals like that, they sit in your stomach for a long time. Fat slows down digestion, the food just sits in your stomach, you end up training feeling really heavy. Have you ever had a heavy meal before? You know, you've gone for a run and you can just feel the weight just sitting in your stomach. You're running and it's just basically bouncing with you. That is probably because you had a high fat meal before you went to train. Instead of having a high fat, high junk food meal, and this is controversial, I tell my athletes to have a crumpet with jam. Now, crumpets are very low in fiber. You do not want to have a high fiber meal before you go to the gym because fiber slows down digestion. And if digestion slowed down, you are going to feel full. You're going to feel stuffed. You're going to feel quite nauseous when training. So you want to have something that's light on the stomach, but also contains enough carbohydrates to give yourself energy. The jam, very high GI. The crumpets, very high GI as well. That means it's going to be a rapid rise in blood sugar. That's exactly what you want before training. You don't want something that's going to cause a slow, gradual rise in blood sugar. You want something that's going to spike your blood sugar immediately to give you energy and fuel you for that session. The main thing about fueling before training is you are trying to maximize your performance. You shouldn't really be focusing on macros. You shouldn't really be focusing on any of that. You should really be focusing on what can give me the most energy in a short window, in a short space of time. That's not going to make me feel like crap when I'm training, and it's going to give me the energy to feel fueled, and it's going to give me endurance throughout the session. After the session, you can worry about, you know, your macros, your protein and everything else. But prior to your session, I always tell athletes to have a high GI, low fiber meal because you do not want the meal to be sitting on you while you're training. Before training, you are trying to get a maximum performance return. That's why I say have high GI carbohydrates, because if you have a high GI carbohydrate 1 to 2 hours before your training session, when you start that session, that energy is going to be readily available. If you have a slow to medium GI carbohydrate, it's very unlikely that that's going to fuel you for that session in 2 hours time. Avoid things like beans, lentils and veg. The reason for that is they are very high in fiber and they create quite a bit of gas. So you're going to be training feeling really bloated and feeling like you need to fart every minute. And that is not what you want during your session. And it might get to the point where you actually have to run to the toilet because you're thinking, oh, you know, I've had so much fiber that, you know, the gas is too much, and that will completely ruin your session. High fiber meals before a workout are a complete no. Just don't do it. I've made the mistake of doing it before. I had a high fiber meal and then I started sparring and I was like, please, no one hit me to the stomach because I don't know what's going to come out the other end. So avoid high fiber meals. I feel like this one's really obvious, but I need to say it because I've seen some people do this before. Avoid spicy foods. I've seen people have a Nando's extra hot chicken before they train or before they go to run. That is going to cause serious distress on your gut. You're going to get acid reflux. You're going to feel quite gassy. You're going to feel quite nauseous. Imagine fighting for your life doing a 5K run, but you're also burping up chilies or you're burping up pepper. It's not going to end well for you. There is nothing wrong with having spicy food post-training. But if you want to get the most out of your session and not feel like shit and not feel like your stomach's on fire and your chest is on fire, please avoid spicy foods. Now, if you've completely screwed up your fueling for the day and you need to train, what is the best thing you should have? I always tell athletes to have a Lucozade Sport. Have a Lucozade Sport on hand, sip that and don't gulp it, because if you gulp it, you're going to feel bloated. So you want to make sure you just sip that drink. On top of that, have some Haribo gummy bears, the dextrose version. That is going to give your body immediate energy so that when you start that session in an hour's time, you can train fairly decently and not get any gut distress. This should only be done if you've completely screwed up your nutrition for the day and you've only got 30 minutes to fuel yourself with something, because you know that if you eat anything, it's going to sit on you and it's going to feel quite heavy. Have a Lucozade Sport, 500 milliliters. Just keep sipping that throughout the day. Haribo gummy bears, the dextrose version. It's going to give you enough energy and enough fuel and enough glycogen that you can get through that session. Absolutely smash it. And then afterwards you can fuel yourself correctly. But it's pointless in that 30-minute window trying to have rice and chicken. You're going to end up just feeling like crap. You're probably going to end up just throwing it out. Now, the last type of food you should avoid isn't actually a food. It's the volume of food you consume. If you look at UFC fighters, they have actually trained their stomach so that they can consume massive meals before training, sort of within a 2-hour window where they can eat 200 grams of chicken breast and 300 grams of rice and still be able to train hard and still be able to spar and not throw up that food. But they have trained their gut to be able to get to that state. Now, for the everyday person, you do not want to have a massive meal before you train, even if it's within a 2-hour window. If you're going to have a big meal that's going to involve chicken, rice, veg, then you want to have that sort of 3 hours before your training session, because it will sit on you, it will feel heavy, and there's a good chance that you'll throw it up. And it is very unlikely that you've trained your gut to be able to consume that amount of food and train within a 2-hour window after consuming a large amount of rice and chicken, veg, and having a large drink. Now, to conclude, if you want to get the most out of your performance, consume foods that are light, that are high GI and very low fiber. If you have foods that are high in fiber, it will completely ruin your session. I always tell athletes to sip on a Lucozade Sport sort of an hour before a session. You can consume a banana, you could have a handful of sweets. There are so many foods that are going to be great for your overall performance. They might not look great on your overall macro profile, but as I said at the start of this video, we are consuming foods before training to boost performance. We're not focused on our macros. That can be focused on throughout the rest of the day. My next video will be the best supplements that you can take to help improve your performance and to help improve your everyday life that are cheap, easy, simple, and most of all, natural and legal. Stay tuned. Please like, follow, subscribe, and comment on this video if you want to see more of this. I thank you all for your support and help me to quit my 9 to 5 by supporting this page. Thank you so much.